The mystery of godliness. This is a comment by our brother Paul, who talked about this in the third chapter of 1 Timothy verse 16, when he says, without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. Well, as I told you yesterday, the Apostle Paul uses this term quite often. He talks about mystery. He talked about, in the early part of this chapter, he talked about the work of the deacons, and they hold the mystery of faith. And he talked about in Ephesians about the mystery between the man and a woman in the church and Jesus. And it's just often very mysterious to us. But the mystery of godliness, we talked about the definition of that yesterday. And basically it's to conclude, to say something that often is a puzzle. We don't understand all of it, but there are clues that are often given to be able to understand what the mystery is and the answer to the puzzle. But then there's the word godliness. Now, when I say that word, we all say, oh, well, I know what that means. But when I begin to press someone to say exactly what is godliness, then people begin to go hem and haw and go, because oftentimes we're not sure. So I went to the dictionary and I looked it up, and this is the first thing that the dictionary said. Godliness, or godly, filled with the love for God. Well, I have to be honest, that quite did not help me to understand what godliness was. So I gave it another try. And this time I saw the word God-like. And it says, befitting or like God, being of supreme excellence or beauty. Well, I have to be honest with you. None of those things really helps me to understand what godliness is, especially the mystery of godliness that the Apostle Paul talks about. However, I'm thankful for the fact that he didn't just leave us hanging here on this important question about the mystery of godliness. He gave us some clues. And it's all in this same verse, chapter 3, 1 Timothy, verse number 16. He talks about, he says, a controversy. Great is the mystery of godliness. So, here are some of the clues. He says, number one, God was manifest in the flesh. Well, I would say this. I ran through this same thing once when I did a teaching about righteousness. And I concluded that the word righteousness just comes from the word right, which means to say that it is right. And he says, well, who is right or what is right? And I'd say, well, that would have to be God. Because God sets the standards for what is right and righteousness. And so here he says, God was manifest in the flesh, which we know that Jesus Christ came to the earth and he became flesh and he dwelt among us, that he could demonstrate to us what godliness was all about. And yes, in many ways, it still remains a mystery, but the mystery becomes more evident as we study the life of Jesus Christ. This is Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.